Anybody who's lived very long in this life has had moments of desperation when they didn't feel like they had any options. Stacy Wollman from the Pregnancy Center CareNet is with me right now, and we're going to talk about options.
Yes.
Planned Parenthood says they are pro-choice, but many women, most women, when asked after an abortion, will say they had the abortion because they felt they had no choice.
That's correct. In fact, over 64% admit to some sort of form of coercion, that they were forced and felt like they had no choice but to have an abortion.
And Stacy, there are options available, but we've heard stories. One that strikes me is a lady who was going to have an abortion because she didn't have an adequate washer and dryer. Now, to us, that seems ludicrous, but to that woman, she was so desperate that it seemed like an insurmountable obstacle for her.
Yes.
Someone provided her a washer and dryer, and that child lives today.
Well, and I tell you, many times the Planned Parenthood folks or the pro-choice abortion pro-death people, they're telling us that we're trying to talk them out of an abortion. Usually what happens is we tell them the facts about an abortion, but what we bring them is resources, and we let them know all the community resources, the people that are able to help them, because many of them, it's just they don't have insurance, so, you know, or they don't know how they can continue to go to school, or what about housing, or what about, you know, food, or medical care, all of those things. We provide the resource information and connect them to allow them to have the option to parent, to place for adoption. There are options. So in a sense, the pregnancy resource centers are the pro-choice organizations, the pro-life, pro-choice. I always say pro-woman, pro-life.
You are all about options, and
Absolutely.
there is a host of organizations all around South Dakota and across the nation that provide options.
That's right.
And so if you're listening today and you're in a crisis pregnancy, you have hope. There are options. And if you would contact Stacy Wollman at the CareNet Pregnancy Resource Center in Rapid City, the number and the address, the web address will be on the screen, or call me. I would just say to those women out there who might be desperate right now, thinking they have no option, Stacy, you or I, either one, would take them on personally and adopt them and find the resources to help them make it through financially, to help them place the baby if that's what they chose to do.
Right.
There are resources, and where our resources end, there is a host of organizations and people whose resources would begin.
And the nice thing about that too is when you know what your options are and you lay it all out on the table and you make that decision, 5 years from now you can look back and say, I had all the information and I was able to make an informed decision. And so we're all about options. We're all about empowering women and men and families to do what's right for their baby, for their lives, and for their future.
Well, and once a woman chooses to have the abortion and actually goes through with it, she doesn't have an option.
No options.
It's done.
Right.
There are no options.
There's no, and many men and women will hold signs up at rallies saying, I regret my abortion. And it's so much deeper than a regret. It is a hurt, and it is something that you think there's relief maybe initially, but that later it comes back to haunt.
And statistically, medical studies have shown that women who have had an abortion are much higher risk for suicide and cancer. It's not a good option, is it?
No, it's not the best option, and so we certainly...
Life is the best option.
Life is the option,
yes.
and even that's biblical. It says to choose life, choose blessings, so that you and your descendants may live.
Yes, choose life. Today, if you are in a desperate situation, and many of us have experienced desperation in our lives, where we just didn't feel like we had options, Stacy and I come to you today and say, there is hope, and you have options. Call or email or contact Stacy Wollman at the CareNet Pregnancy Center, or contact me. We will put you in touch with resources and show you options for life.